In the often toxic, dysfunctional dating world, safety and transparency are more important than ever. With the surge of dating apps came a host of new challenges: catfishing, ghosting, deception, and even abuse. Out of a complicated landscape emerged the dating advice app. Marketed as a protective tool designed exclusively for women, it promised to offer a safe space for women to vet men, share their dating experiences, and avoid potential harm. At first glance, T seemed to be the answer many women had been waiting for. With over 2 million downloads, it quickly climbed to the top of Apple's App Store. Women could share their experiences with men by marking them with either a green flag for good behavior or a red flag for concerning conduct. They could also run background checks, verify identities, and make informed decisions before agreeing to a date. The slogan, "Helping women date safe," caught on quickly. However, what began as a seemingly noble mission quickly unraveled. A massive data breach exposed the private lives of thousands of users, including their photos, IDs, conversations, and personal details. A second breach soon followed. The same platform designed to protect now put thousands of women at risk. But deeper than the security failure is a more complex problem: the potential misuse of the app as a tool for revenge, humiliation, and defamation. This conversation explores what the T app is, how it works, what went wrong, and the dangerous implications it holds for both women and men. It is a conversation that needs to happen, especially in an age where digital reputations are fragile and online vigilantism is only a click away. We must examine whether this app, in its current form, does more harm than good. It's time to ask ourselves, is this tool offering real safety for women, or is it quietly turning into a weapon of social destruction? The T dating app is a US-based women-only platform launched in late 2022 by software engineer Sean Cook. Motivated by his mother's troubling online dating experiences, Cook wanted to build an app that helped women avoid unsafe or deceptive men. With features like background checks, sex offender registry scans, and photo verification, T was intended to provide women with vital information before entering a relationship. Women could leave anonymous reviews about men they dated, noting everything from positive traits to serious red flags. The community-driven model made it feel like a digital whisper network. One woman's warning could be another woman's. Greens celebrated respectful, honest men. Flags warned against those who lied, cheated, ghosted, or even worse. T allowed reverse image searches to help catch fake profiles or catfish. It blocked screenshots to keep posts inside the app. It even promised that photo IDs used for account verification would be deleted immediately after use. At least that's what users were told. In July of 2025, everything changed. Angry users from online forums like 4chan began targeting the app. A hack and leak operation exposed more than 70,000 verification photos, including sensitive IDs. Not long after, a second released over 15,000 additional images containing private messages, posts, and comments dating back more than 2 years. This wasn't just a privacy issue. It was a public humiliation campaign. Women who had trusted T found themselves exposed to the entire internet. A map was created to locate users. Another site ranked them based on appearance. Cruel comments followed, mocking their looks, choices, and personal stories. T claimed it acted quickly and brought in cybersecurity experts. They paused their direct messaging system and promised free identity protection services to affected users. But the damage was done. Trust was broken. What started as protection now under scrutiny. The intent behind T may have been noble. The unchecked power it gives users, specifically women, can be misused. The ability to rate and review men without due process opens the door to retaliation, false accusations, and public shaming. Consider these 10 dangerous scenarios that can arise from misuse. A woman upset over a breakup posts a fabricated or exaggerated red flag. Humiliation campaigns. Screenshots of harmless behavior are twisted into signs of toxicity. Career sabotage. A man's professional reputation is damaged by accusations, even if unproven. Mental health crisis. Negative public depression, anxiety, or even suicide. False flags. Innocent men are wrongly identified as threats due to mistaken identity. Stalking risks. A woman uses the app to track a man she once dated. Weaponized feminism. Radical users use the platform to punish men they politically disagree with. Reputational profiling. A man gets blacklisted from dating circles for a single awkward date. Catfishing backlash. Real men are wrongly accused of being catfished due to unflattering photos. Family fallout. Accusations on the app ripple out, affecting marriages, children, and jobs. Imagine if there was an app where men could review in the same manner. Society would be in an uproar. But the reverse scenario is quickly accepted under the guise of protection. The imbalance sets a dangerous precedent. It feeds the narrative that one gender should be believed without question, while the other must prove innocent without a voice. Dating apps should not be a courtroom. Allegations should not be broadcast before evidence is reviewed. Real protection should come from better education, stronger vetting, and tools that protect both parties without turning individuals into targets. The feminist movement, at its best, aims for equality and justice. But this app, as it stands, can be used for punishment rather than progress. And the recent hacks prove that these digital walls aren't secure. Women seeking safety were left exposed and vulnerable, the very thing they tried to avoid. The T app, born from fear, now fuels new fears. Until it changes, it may do more harm than good. The T dating advice app is a sign of the times. It's real fears, real dangers, and a real need for safety in dating. But it also reflects a broken system, one that favors viral gossip over verified facts, one that lets people judge others without accountability, one that punishes based on hearsay, not truth. We can and should protect women from harm, but that protection must come with boundaries, fairness, and respect for all. Apps like T must evolve, or they will crumble under the weight of their own contradictions. Technology should empower, not endanger. Tools meant to protect should never be used to destroy. And people, men and women alike, should not be reduced to digital profiles and public ratings. We need a return to human connection, not to honesty, not paranoia. The backlash to T is a wake-up call. It's a warning about what happens when privacy is ignored and when justice is replaced with digital outrage. Women deserve to be safe, but men deserve to be treated fairly. Anything less is a setup for chaos. So let's talk openly. Let's think critically. Let's not allow our fear to become our downfall. Because once we turn protection into punishment, nobody wins, and everyone becomes a target.
Yes, indeed. It is a sign of the times. Very much so. You know, and honestly, I kind of believe that this is breakdown of society, breakdown of community, breakdown of family. Because dating apps, did we really need dating apps back in the day? I mean, we didn't have them. We didn't have the technology, but we did well. We did well without this stuff, right? And it seems like it could help because with the technology, we can be more deceptive. So people think, well, we could use technology to break the deception. There are women and men. I'm not going to say in what proportion, but there are women and men who can sustain multiple situationships because of the technology that we have. Meaning that it's not the normal way it used to be. Men meet women, women meet men. They don't even have to exchange phone numbers. No, you don't give them access to your world anymore because if you have a significant other and you give a person a phone or your phone number, they can call. And you might be in the room with your significant other, so you can't have that. I'm being funny saying it that way. I'm not saying I condone that. So now people say, hey, what's your Facebook? What's your Instagram? And people can make more than one Instagram. People can make more than one Facebook page. These are proven things that I know. I talk to a lot of people and they admit things to me, and I've learned a lot. A lot of young girls, I'm not picking on the young ladies because the men are a little more brazen, but young girls who are still in their parents' house. These are a few thoughts I just want to get off to kind of flavor the facts of what I shared and what I just played. But they can have an Instagram page where everybody can see it. They give it to everybody, family, friends, classmates, aunts and uncles, parents. Oh, my girl's a good girl. Look at her simple Instagram post. So wholesome, so clean, so reputable. But that same girl, 14, 15, 16, 17 years old, whatever, will have another Instagram page, not made for the family and the inner circle. It's made for meeting men. And you might not see her face so clear on this one, just in case somebody stumbles on it. But the sexy outfits, the exposed body parts, the words and the quotes that invite attention and intention. So I didn't stutter wrong. There's always truth when I slip up in my speech. Freudian slips. So the internet game is something that a person who's never been on it, they'll get crushed because they don't know the tricks of the trade, right? Men can have different profiles, never mentioning their marital status. Not that that matters at all, because it seems like when you do have a significant other in a committed relationship, that's in a twisted way very much an attractant. Because many of these women who don't want relationships, they like that because they know that on Thanksgiving in America, Christmas, New Year's, and the various holidays that are celebrated, whether it's in America or different holidays in different countries, you're tied down. You're tied down. So that gives them a sense of relief. I can be free. He can see me when he sees me. What I'm saying is that the technology has created a world of deception. Things that you can get away with technology, with smartphones, you can't get away with in real life. You can meet as many people with the potential of dating. And usually in this modern world, and I'm not saying everybody's rotten like this, but here comes the hustle. The men can meet as many women. Many will give out their number. Many will have a separate cell phone and keep that just for those things, or a dual SIM card phone where they can have different numbers. They can meet as many as they want. They don't have to push to go higher. They don't have to push to advance to get what they want. With many of the women, we're talking the devious style folks now. They can meet as many men as they want. They can even be in somewhat of a relationship. And they can control it. And you can have conversations that are not anxious. You take your time because you got 10 other people you're talking to. Maybe not that much. Maybe more, maybe less. But it's a funny call because we don't know what we're dealing with. And now we're going to turn around and use the same technology to try to red flag people in the name of protection. But like I said just earlier, it can be used to punish. You could have a person who didn't like the date that they went on and they want to accuse the person or say little things about them that would hurt their reputation. And these men don't have a chance to stand up for themselves. So when you have these women, and I'm not demonizing women or all women, I understand the purpose of having that app, but they didn't think it through and through. And I didn't know about it until July, this August 1st now at the time of this recording, when the app was breached. And now I heard about it. I was like, this is interesting. So now it was hacked into, and a lot of the women who were there anonymously voting on the men they dated and putting it up publicly, they got exposed. Their pictures were put up. Their addresses revealed. Oh, God. All of their stuff privately was put out there, so you know who was putting this bad word out about you. Even if you knew that you were on the app as a man, red flagged or green flagged in the first place. This is bad. They can do better. But I believe it's a breakdown of society because you know what? Back in the day, and I'm not saying back in the day like that was better than now, but to me, it was a lot safer. You didn't date somebody that you just randomly, it didn't even get to that point. But dating, and I'm going to say it again, because you wouldn't need this app if we had the good old fashioned way. Dating was nothing more than for feeling out the person's energy and getting into seeing what they were about with their personality in real lifetime, face to face. So number one, if you went on a date with somebody, it meant nothing more than that. But these days, dating or date is a four-letter word. These days, not with everybody, but you can possibly go on a date. And at the end of the date or during the date, it's a four-letter word, F-U-C-K. Dating straight to sex. It's not what it's about. You just want to find out how this person was. It's like trying out shoes when you go to the shoe store, shoe shop. Doesn't mean you're going to buy it. I just want to try it on, see how it feels. I like the way they look, but I have to try it on. And I'm going to try on other ones. Dating didn't mean you were exclusive. It was a pitch. It was like going for a job and you have your resume, and while enjoying yourself at a restaurant or a walk to the park, or maybe you say, you know what, let's meet at the supermarket and let's shop together. That was a pretty cool one. You bring your own vehicle, they bring their own vehicle. You might be busy. You say, I'm going to be shopping. There's a restaurant in that strip mall where I'll be shopping. And we can go shopping together, put our groceries in our vehicles, and then go grab a bite to eat, then head on home because you got something to do later on. That's dating. Doesn't mean you have to go to the supermarket together, but that's the safest way of dating. Don't even drive with this person who you don't know. Now, if like back in the old days, you already had mutual friends and contacts that can vouch for this person. You go to the same church. Your brother went to school with this guy. This is one of your friends. The sister dated this guy. He was a gentleman, but they just never went forward. There's no pressure. You as a woman can date somebody else later on that day because you want to see what they're all about. I mean, usually you do this on another day, but you can date somebody. That's all it is. There's no commitment. There's no sex. There's no promise of anything. It's just like you're trying on shoes. That's it. You don't have to say, no, I'm not never going to see you again. You just say, had a nice time. Let's keep in contact. That's it. When you have courting, you're courting someone. It's not where it's a full-blown relationship with sex. There's no sex in there technically. We break these rules these days. I understand that. But there's no sex involved. There's none of that involved. You're courting. You're exclusively dating. That's what courting is. You're with this person. It's not a total commitment where you know it's going to work out, but you're courting them, because when you do all of these things, it's with the prospect of marriage. Even when you're dating with no commitment, if it advances, it's getting a little more serious. You're not seeing the company of any other man. And as a man, you're not seeing the company of any other woman. This is a prospect of going forward, a life commitment. But the problem these days, we have these throwaway relationships. These throwaway relationships that we know from the very beginning, it ain't going nowhere. It's just about whatever it is about. And usually it's a sex thing. And with many women, I'm not saying they're gold diggers, all of them, but it's a, let me see how much money I can get or favor I can get out of this man as long as it lasts, because I'm not serious about this guy. I'm trying to excavate as much as I can from his pockets, from his resources. It might be where he owns a car dealership, right? And you with this man because he owns a car dealership. Maybe you can go out on a few dates and get some money out of him. Maybe you can get a car out of him at a greatly reduced rate because he's an insider and he knows these things. Some women date you for status, right? They want a monkey branch and they want to start out with you because maybe you run in an affluent circle more so than she can reach on her own. And if she gets invited to parties with other affluent men and he brings you, you might not go there and start hitting on other men, but you're going to make sure to be your gorgeous best, right? And other men are going to cut the eye at you and you're going to see who's who. You're going to meet different men that in public, it just wouldn't be possible to really get in the inner circle. You might print up business cards and say, or express what you do. If you do something, if you're known to have a business, it's like, hey, give me a call. I do massage or whatever. And since you're a friend of so-and-so, you call me and you come and I'll take care of you. Now, what guy who has something on his mind, if you're well-shaped and beautiful and intelligent, he's going to hop on that, hoping that he can undercut his friend. Maybe the guy that brought you is not his friend. You know how treacherous things are, how slick people can be. That's what it is. I'm saying all of this is that back in the old day, right, which wasn't too far, and the old day is still present. If you work with these dynamics, you have your own network. And of course, you have your own self-worth. But it's usually with people within or just a bit outside of your circle that you can say some things about. Doesn't mean it protects you. You still have to move cautiously. What I'm trying to say is really, if you do things the right way, you don't need these apps. If a person in real life is making multiple profiles and he's trying to go after all these women, when does he have time to do this? If you're working in real life time, right? You'll burn out. There'll be nothing left. You'll be too tired. And that's what a lot of men do. They don't realize you can't chase everybody. You can't have everybody. Especially when you watch a person, how they use their time, what they do. What are your hobbies? What do you do in your spare time? If you were in a marriage before and you have a child, how often do you see that child? When do you spend time with them? That takes up a lot of time. But you can't have these mysterious unions happening because people can be doing things right up under your nose with the technology that we have. And it's a breakdown of the family unit has affected dating. Society, the breakdown has affected you personally in dating. Because we don't have these checkpoints that we used to have. Because our worlds are so separate and so distant. Imagine now, let's just take a walk down an imaginary road. You, for a day, all of a sudden have magical insight as to the secret lives that people you know are living. You'd be surprised. I'm not saying everybody is a weirdo or some creep, but most people are not going to tell you what their interests are on a deeper level, what they're into, and the things that they, and I've been privy to that, being online for so long, and even in different areas. I was never what you'd call a hacker, because that's kind of something since computers came around, they speak on. But I wrote an article before about phone freaking. I'm not talking phone sex. Phone freaking. I don't know if you all read that article on Lancescurv X. Look that up and it will tell you everything. Over the phones, I discovered how certain freakers, which they called, that was hackers back then, but they did things with the tones of the phone to get into government agencies, get information, or other people who just did it for fun. And I lucked out one time when I got on the phone one time and heard this voice. The article tells you everything, but they explained to me the whole way that thing works. And the different areas of it where regular people were going on there anonymously, and it was free. It was like the phone lines, the phone the phone dating things, the chat lines over the phone years ago, but this was telephone test lines. And people would get on there and look to meet other people. And the things that some of these people requested, because they can speak freely, right? It was amazing. I was speaking to my friend Angelo last night. and I was telling him some of the people that I spoke to. And he remembers it, but he was never on it. But it was entertainment for me. And there's nothing new under the sun. But with technology comes the deviance, and people figure out ways on how to use things in a manner which they wouldn't probably do openly and publicly, because there are a lot of men out here and women, but we're speaking about protecting women. There are a lot of men out here who they're just out there, and their public persona doesn't match who they really are on the inside. Well, what if we had an app for men who can vet women? Because I'm pro woman, but there's a lot of women out here that are damn near running businesses with their body manipulation. I mean, and it's like a schedule. The phones are popping off. Even out here in Ghana and America. I've known, and I know certain people who their phones are popping, and all these different men. Hey girl, what you doing later on? Boom. Oh, last night was so nice. Boom. Can we get together in 2 days? Boom. Different people. And some people don't mind talking. I said, listen, what's going on with you? Your phone, you're so stuck to it. What's up? They told me, I got a lot of men that call me, and the evident money they're getting. They work a job that pays next to nothing, but they're getting the most expensive hairstyles. They're getting their nails done every week. The phone messes up just automatically. They get a brand new phone, but it's crazy, which you can do. But when you know this person doesn't have it like that, you're in a different city now, you're in a certain hotel, here and there, you go to work and, my job doesn't pay me that much. Okay, no problem. There's a lot of devious things going on, and this is helping to facilitate. I suggest go back to the original way. Go back to a time when your inner circle kind of knew this person, or somebody in your inner circle knew this person and can refer to you how they are. Because it's a dangerous world. It is dangerous. It is dangerous. There was someone many decades ago that I used to date, and it got to be intimate, but it wasn't a committed thing. So I can't say we were courting or engaged, right? So I can only say date. But even then, I jumped the rules and it ended up 7 to 8 times being on an intimate level. And I'm a gentleman. I'll treat you right. And life goes on. You get married, you get divorced, you're single now. I was single then. And this young lady, we reconnected. But it was a different vibe. More mature. We weren't kids before, but older, more mature. And they planned on moving down to Florida. I was like, wow, they actually had family in a certain part of Florida. So he's like, I want to come down, but I don't want to be up under them. But where I was many miles. I was in Orlando, and the family was on the West Coast and down some. And so she decided that she was going to come down by me first. She kind of invited herself, and I allowed it. But I was between marriages, and I was actually hanging out with different women. And those other hanging outs of wasn't anything sexual. So I gave her an extra room and she can stay. I trusted her. And I went out. And she heard me on the phone when I came back because it was late. Like, wow, we had a good time, so and so and so and so. Next time, let's go here. I'll take you out here, there, wherever. She heard that. So she knew that there were other people that I spent time with. Because it wasn't really late when I got in. And she went to lay down, the doors open, everything. So I went to lay down also. Evidently, she had some mental issues after what happened. Because I was sleeping in my room and I thought I locked the door. I can trust her, but still, that's me. I got a personal hang up about locking doors when I'm sleeping. I'm locking the bedroom door. Somebody can come in there, and for those first few seconds before I get my bearings, if somebody shocks me, breaks in the house, whatever have you, they got me. If they intend to do me harm. So I'm sleeping, and I wake up. It was a day I had nothing to do. So I woke up late. 10 o'clock, 9:30, 10 o'clock. When you have those days, you'll even lay there. Like, I don't have to get up, and I'm not going to get up. I'm going to lay here for another hour. But I wasn't fully awake all the way. I was like maybe 15% awake. I started to become aware of what was going on around me, and you drift off back down into sleep. That's the sweetest time, too. Oh, I love it. I did that today a little earlier. So I felt something. I felt a presence. I was sleeping on my stomach because I shift around a lot. And I try to stay on my left side because they say when you sleep on your left side, it's easier for your bowels to engage the process of elimination. To throw that in there. Make a long story short, I'm on my left side and I just felt something. And I felt more of a breeze because the door to the bedroom was open. And down in Florida, you know, it's basically always warm. So I rolled over on my back. And who do I see? I see her. Like I mentioned her name. With no clothes on. Pretty much looked the same from when I used to see her decades ago, right? But she was crying. I had a lot to process. And she had a knife behind her back. I didn't see it at first because she had it, you know, to the back in her right arm, her right hand, and to the back, and she's standing next to me. And I'm laying down. But from the mirror behind her, at the angle or to the side, I could see it. I'm like, oh my God. Now they say that you're not supposed to hit women. I didn't hit her. But if she made a move, I was fully prepared to knock her out. I'm not making fun of hitting women. I'm just saying, I'm naked too. And you got a kitchen knife, a butcher knife, standing over me crying. I don't think anybody would be mad if, even from that alone, I knocked her out if I did that. But I got her to talking. But I was ready to do that because we're talking about timing. She's telling me, oh, you're such a good man. And I didn't see how you're just so much of a catch. And I'm not going to lie. I know you went out with a woman last night. And I was going to take her around too. But it triggered something in her. I mean, we spoke regular for a little while, but really and truly, I haven't spoken to her for a very, very long time. Right? So I'm trying to gauge her. So she's on that, I always wanted you, and I didn't know we lost contact, but I see it could have been me and you, and I wasn't even thinking about that back then. We were intimate with each other about 7, 8 times. It wasn't no commitment. It wasn't anything when anybody proclaimed, well, this is going somewhere, we're catching feelings, whatever. What I'm saying is that these dating apps or these apps are not going to tell you everything about someone. Not that I was on that back then. It didn't exist. But from what I knew of her, or thought I knew of her, and then time goes by, you don't know what people go through. There was somebody else in that time period, straight nutcase, to the highest degree. But because I knew this other one in church at 11, 12 years old, knew the family, knew all this stuff, I didn't know. I didn't know. So, ladies and gentlemen, there are a lot of people out here who can pretend to act as though everything is healthy in their life, and it's not even like that. So the best thing to do, even more so in these apps, take your time. Because if they're living a double life or an unstable life, they have enough sense to hide it. And don't believe everything they tell you. It doesn't mean you're going into this thing like a detective, but the closer you get to them and the more you open your life to them, they should be opening their life to you to the point where you're comfortable. They should be looking to prove themselves to you. As a man, prove yourself. And as a woman, prove yourself. Transparency over time until you're satisfied. Because an app can be breached. What people say could be the wrong thing. And you feel their energy. And there's no way that you're going to feel their energy being on the outside of their life. And again, it doesn't mean it has to be anything serious. Whenever you see a red flag, you better investigate it. There's no other way. Too many women are getting violated, SA'd, as they call it now, assaulted, snuffed out and taken out of life, deleted. You know how many cases there are that are not completed when people are missing, unalived? And of course, every life is valuable. But the media, they don't care, really. If you're a hot story, if you're connected to somebody rich or famous or you're known for something, but there are a lot of women who are living, I will not to put them down, but basically nondescript lives where they just go to work, they come home, it's nothing spectacular, it's nothing the media wants to amplify and put out there to get butts in the seat because the media is a business. The media don't care about you. So there's so many of these situations where it goes unresolved. And that's just the way it is. But you got to watch out for yourself. Because there's so much of your life that a person can read if they really wanted to. If you have a crazy stalker who's obsessed with you and you meet them, there's a simple date. There is so much of your information that's out there. Once they get your real name, once they dig deep enough, and don't let them find your social media, they will go all up and down your friends list. Block your friends list as much as you can, especially on Facebook. Because I've had people that were hell-bent on friending as many of the people that I'm real friends with. And I don't mean that I'm not real friends, so I never met you, but people that I've grown up with that are close to me, and they can figure it out. Hey, how does this person end up on your friends list? So I wasn't thinking nothing about it. I clicked it. They were friends with you too, so I clicked it. But they've been asking me questions. I was like, what kind of questions? About you, Lance. Don't tell them nothing. They try to triangulate you. They lurk. They peep. They watch. They have their obsessions. Both sexes. So there ain't no app out there that's going to protect you. It's not. Because human nature and a devious mind, technology is keen and it's sharp. There's a whole lot of ways to get around things. And the con men are out there. And the gold digger con women. They out there. Trust and believe. So again, be careful. Oh, I'm missing it. I didn't even look at the chat room. Of course, Renee Green, you came in early. Landon Price. Yes, Mad Guns Forever and Giant Game. The original Scurvite. Chance Rogers. You scurving them. Diane. And look, I didn't say it before. Mad Guns Forever. Yes, everybody's here. Well, not everybody, but most are here. The crew is very scary. And I'm not out in that world like that. But even like people knowing about me, like the cab drivers that I use to come down the mountain, the equivalent that I'll pay is like, how much now? Maybe like $2. If I go up into the main area, the circle where the shops are, you'll never see a Walmart up there. We're talking about the villages up in the mountains. Because you only get some things and the staples. I'm not going all the way down into a crop of that. There's something I missed that I can get up here. And so I may take the van up and I may take a cab down. I might walk it both ways. Whether it's nice, I'm going to walk. Because, I don't have a car right now. That's okay. And it hit me how so many of the cab drivers that I know, there's a bunch of them that chill out right there and they just deal as it comes. They play their dominoes, they hang out. Like, look, on another topic, some of these guys are not rich, but they are enjoying life. And it's made me see so much that there can be people that don't have the money many have in America. And I don't mean in America everybody has money, but in their working, they've accumulated a little bit, even though they don't have time most of the time to enjoy it. These guys are making little money, but their overhead is so minuscule in comparison. And they don't care about showing out. They don't care about, I'm going to get that brand new BMW. I'm going to get that Jaguar. And I'm not knocking you if you live the life where you had things. But their lives are so simple. Not simple as a put down. Not cluttered. Every time you see them, they're laughing. They're joking amongst the other cab drivers. I'm speaking about the cab drivers right now. But it hit me after a while where they all knew where I lived, which is no problem. But they all knew. And I have all their numbers anyway. If I need to get up there quick, I can give them a call. They just come. But it's a lot of them. Now, if I was in paranoid mode, I'm like, oh, man, I can't have all of these cab drivers know where I live. You know what I mean? But it's no biggie. No biggie. I'm safe down here. But in a place, I can't just say America, any big city, it's easy for a faceless person to keep tabs on you. So much to the point that they'll know so much about your life. And you didn't know how they got this information, all because of technology. I wrote an article on the site, and it's about this older guy. He had to be in his late 70s. I think I've told you about him before. He was a guy who, and I learned this from the other older women on the bus. into this particular route that went into the neighborhood. Because I had two routes. I had the main one that went through a lot of the hoods and the tourist areas, and they mixed it in with one of the neighborhoods, Richmond Heights, where it's a black neighborhood. It was made, black folks bought homes that were inexpensive back in the 60s, and it's just a black neighborhood. So I got to really know the neighborhood there and the people there because of all their gossip on the bus. So there's this, I'm kind of off topic now, but I'm just explaining how people can keep tabs on you and you don't even realize it. Here I'm driving the bus every day. This old guy, who I called Bozo, I would dig the article up and find it and post it up in the description area down below, or comment section. Bozo was a guy who looked like something from the blaxploitation movie area, time. I don't know why I said area. But he dressed with the print shirts and certain type of sweaters and had all these rings on his finger. He was real short. But it made him look odd. His legs were long and his torso was really short. And then he wore his belts up high. So it looked like his torso was getting swallowed up by his pants. He had these real thick glasses on. And he had a bald spot, shiny bald spot, but he kept the hair on the side, came down on the side, little afro hair, covered his ears. Oh, you know who he looked damn near exactly like? Damn near exactly like? Except he's the older version of this guy. The guy that they caught for the Atlanta child murders, that guy. Thick glasses and the way he looked. If you're looking, it could be him younger. But this guy was just creepy, my passenger. So he would always want to ride in the front, across on the other side, next to me. The newer buses had this big wheel thingy, and they over the wheel, and they had things inside, and you couldn't sit in the front. I would get the older buses sometime for that route. He would always sit there and stare straight ahead because the seat was, you sit down, you're facing me. So I felt uncomfortable after a while. I'm like, I'd look through the mirror on the right side, and I'd lock eyes with him for a second. He's just looking at me. He'd get on the bus with everybody else, but he always waited to be the last one or try to be the first one. If he was the last one, he was still going to say that, even if it wasn't a handicap thing, he'd tell the person, listen, I have a bad leg and I don't want to have to get up in the back of the bus or in the middle of the bus. It's like, give the old guy a seat. He'd always end up in that seat. Never said anything. So one of the ladies on the bus, a few of them, one day Bozo wasn't there. And I'll tell you a story. Let me tell you that part of the story first. It makes it more. Bozo, I forgot his real name. I'm just calling him Bozo. Bozo was in the service. I forgot what wing of the service, but he was in the service when he was much younger. And you know how it is back there, back in the days when you are undercover homosexual male, because that's what he was. There was a guy in the service with him that he did his time. He was out now, but they had some kind of homosexual affair. And Bozo evidently fell in love with this man. And the man was much younger than him, even though it was not like 70s, because he wasn't 70s when he was there, but he was younger. But the other guy got in and got out of high school. I think Bozo was in his 30s and this guy was in his early 20s. Bozo was in his late 30s. So Bozo saved up all his money for the military, and he said, I'm going to buy a house with you, but I want you to pick the house out. I want you to be happy. So I guess the other guy was the wife. So Bozo, stupid fool, saves up the money somehow in the bank and has the man with either a joint account or he has access so he can take this money and buy the house. and Bozo was still in the service, out of the country. So the guy takes the money and he's gone. I booted off and didn't even realize it. So if you can, tell me, oh, okay, I must have just got right back on. Maybe I see the time when Landon made the chat post there. It was 5:56 for me. It's 5:57. Was I off too long? Let me know. And let me know if you can hear me, number one. And also if what was the last thing I said? I know I was speaking about this guy Bozo. Let me know, somebody, what was the last thing I said? Because I was talking maybe for a couple seconds and maybe you didn't hear it. And I'm on the phone now, so I'm upstairs. I'm kind of relaxing. I like doing it this way. I'll go longer that way. Okay, got ripped off by in the house. Okay. So maybe I said this part, you heard it, but the guy took the money and bought a house with another man, and the house is in the other man's name. So Bozo couldn't legally come after him, right? So I found out from the ladies on the bus that the guy that broke his heart looked just like me. And the guy that broke his heart, he's out of the military, but he's older now, but he was working in the mall in a restaurant. So Bozo would get up every single day and go to the restaurant and sit in the food court, angled in a way to stare at that restaurant. But he wasn't harassing him. He didn't do anything wrong. So he couldn't call the cops all day. Early in the morning, I think the mall opened up at 10. And he'd get out of there by like 5, 6 o'clock. That's when he would get on my bus. So he'd get on my bus and he's staring me down. So I never knew why. And the old ladies on the bus were like, driver, that man is in love with you. And you wearing them shorts? Because we used to wear shorts or long. I used to like to wear shorts. And he looking at them legs. You got some nice legs. I'm like, oh God, that's what he's looking at. Come to find out, there's a lady that lived next door to him. Oh God, what was her name? I'll find out, but it's not important now. She was one who was oh, I got her name now, but I'm not gonna say it. She was like real close to me. Like, I didn't ask about the gossip of that particular neighborhood of Richmond Heights, but she was telling me everything. And I'm like, well, it's get to be entertaining. And after a while, I started getting into it. Well, she lived next door to Bozo. And she's like, driver, I'm going to tell you something. There's the vulnerability of being on the phone. I'm sorry about that. I'm moving to a different area because this house is all concrete, and I got my Starlink, and if I move away from it too much, as strong as the signal is, it won't go through. So where I am right now is a lot better. Not laying down though, you might hear a little echo. But what you say, booty bandits? Yeah, a lot of them bozos be on the low low. Yep. Yeah, chance Rogers, you have a lot of bozos out there. If it cuts for some reason, just hold on, and if it does it again, I just have to go down to my studio and get on the actual computer or whatever, because I still have it running down there. I just want a little freedom. It's gloomy, it's raining, But anyway, the older woman told me when she was on the bus, she lives next door. I don't know if you missed that. She lives next door to Bozo. His bed is right on the side of her property. And there's one day she was sweeping down the side of her house, and she doesn't look up in people's windows. The houses are extremely close. He had his windows open, never was open before. And he could see on the wall, there were pictures of me. I'm like, what? Pictures of me? Like, yeah, all them pictures. One of the other ladies follows you on social media, and a lot of the pictures, he must have downloaded and printed them up. So this joker had a shrine. But what if he was like the woman who was standing over me with the knife? What if he saw me talking to a friend and that's it? Thinking I'm maybe, they're delusional. What if he was thinking me and he was in some kind of homo relationship? And I'm talking to some buddy of mine. Oh, if I can't have you, nobody will. And how that story ended with the woman by the bed, I had to talk to her in a delusional way too, so she can calm down. Like, yes, yeah, I'm with you, sweetheart. I felt the same way too, but not now. Let's go somewhere where we can really enjoy ourselves. You know what I mean? Yes. I knew you felt the same way too. I had my eye on that knife. Let's shower and let's celebrate the right way. You got to get to the level of madness that many people are on. If they're a little delusional, they could be extremely intelligent, and most are. The ones who are walking around with their finger in their left ear and smacking their right booty cheek, song, national anthem, walking down the street with two different color shoes on, they're not going to bother you. They're in their own world. But when you have delusional people, and I'm saying this because online there are people who fixate on people and they don't know you, and you damn sure don't even know them. So you got to be careful, especially when there's more mental illness now than ever before. And just like back in the day before the internet was in our possession, we had celebrities that had people that show up on their property and have guns. If you love this celebrity and you're delusional, why do you need a gun? And there's some people who hold it in. They don't show any signs of it, but in their mind, they still think you and them have something going on. And now it's not just celebrities anymore, because it could be anybody. There are dudes who will friend you on Facebook if you have a gorgeous enough picture up. I personally know people who do that. Man, I can't get enough of her, man. I didn't send her a friend request, but I keep going to her page and she keeps putting up these pictures. We don't know who's watching us. They don't have to be next to you to watch you. I know for a fact that there are people trying to find out the actual location of where I live up in the mountains. I know that. I got people watching out for me. I got my main buddy who is, how can I put it? He's not a hacker. He could be if he wanted to. He has hacker powers and hacker abilities. And there's a couple of times he stepped into the gray area to let me know what's going on around me. Yeah. It's frightening. And I know this personally. They just hide and hide, just fixate and just watch it. And they don't know I see them too. Well, they're apt like that. There's going to be people who make things similar. There's going to be people who do things devious. I mean, look at how open this app was, right? Because before doing this show and setting it up yesterday, which I was going to do this one last night, but after going out, I was like, oh man, fatigue hit me hard. I'm sitting on the couch, and I had to set the show up, and I fell asleep hard. I was like, I don't think this is going to happen. And I woke up so late today. I had to push back the time of this show. But in the dark web, you'd be surprised how much possibly your information is out there, but nobody used it. In the dark web, there's sites that you can grab other people's credentials to set up a web presence. Your stuff can be used, and you don't even know it. Let's hope people don't use it for criminal purposes. It was just like right after my father passed away in 1990. Social Security contacted me because somebody was using my father's Social Security number. Somebody in Brooklyn. I lived in Queens. Somebody in Brooklyn. But that was clipped. And somehow, some way, I got a hold of the name of the person, which I know somebody must have made a mistake because they're not supposed to give out stuff like that. But I found out, oh, Jack Griffin. Yeah, Bozo's man took the house money when Bozo was in the service. Yep. Yeah, Giant Game. I always listen. I'm a completely listen to my body. Like if it was in the daytime and I want to nap a little bit. If it's night and I'm up and I'm really up, I just go with the flow. I want to see what that's like. I've been doing it, but it really helps me to be on a higher level. I'm not saying I'm some guru on the mountain. I'm just saying that with the lack of stimulation from the outside world, the spirits of these people, like when I go down in the city, and I'm kind of off the subject now. I'll bounce back to it, but I'm freestyling now. Remember, we're going to do that show tomorrow night. I'm going to freestyle and just tell stories. It's Saturday night, open mic, and everybody wants to come on in. Fine. We'll put that link up in the chat room from the beginning of the show. We're going to have some fun. And I'll be uncensored. I got too many stories, I got to get them out of my head. But yeah, that was rough with Bozo. But he was getting weirder and weirder by the day, where he started to come out like, okay, when you have your bus route, you have your schedule. They can see a schedule. They can see when you're across town or you're supposed to be at this place by this time or you can't leave it by this time or whatever. I remember late at night, right at Washington Shores. That was like, they say a super stop, but it was like kind of small and they had stores there. It wasn't downtown, but I had some layovers over there. Like 11:30 at night, 12:15. Yo, why was Bozo out there staring at my bus? I'm on the bus, sitting there for a few minutes, whatever. And I think I had a longer layover of 20 minutes there. He's way down, hiding behind the poles, peeking at me. He creeped to another pole and looked. That was weird. Now I knew this guy was in the military, and I'm like, I hope he doesn't have any firearms on him, acting creepy like that. Because toward the end, he was gone. His mind was gone. He took the bus. He'd go home, and later on that night, he's back out watching me. Already there, watching my bus pull up. There's one of my passengers who knew the situation. Your friend over there watching you. I said, oh, come on. He ain't gonna do that. No, I mean, go over there and look. And yeah, that's what it was. I had a dude, and yes, Giant, it's a long time coming to be able to just flow. This is a sleepy day right now. It was this. The sun peaked out a little bit twice, but this is so tropical up here, and we're in the clouds, so the moisture is up here already. So it's really jungle-like up here, and the rain is coming down very misty, very misty. And it's just real light on the metal roof, and it's nice. But it makes you want to sleep. Not a heavy rainstorm with winds and everything, but just a relaxing thing. And it's all day been much darker than what it should be, but that's the way it is. It's so nice. I should open up the back window or door. It's raining. I want the rain to come in and give you a peek. It's so sleepy up here. Let's see what it's like. You're not going to see any rain coming down. Let me see if I can do something. Hold on. Let me operate this thing right. Okay. I'll give you a quick peek. Okay, what's that? What am I going to do now? I'm doing something wrong. I'm on the phone, y'all, so I don't want to hit the wrong thing. Okay, I think I know what I'm doing. Hold tight. I was in the wrong section. I don't know what I'm doing here wrong. Okay, it's too complicated. I'll do something when I wake up in the morning outside and show you everything. But on another topic, and I've spoken this before, and I'm just rambling right now. I didn't realize what time it was. Well, anyway, just like when your body is tired, you sleep, and sometimes if you're at work, if you're still working or whatever, you're like, oh man, I gotta tough this out. I'm so tired, but I gotta tough this out. Yeah, we have to earn in the system a living somehow, some way. But your body talks to you. And the last few days, I was kind of pushing against it, going against what I felt to do. And I got back on track. And when I went down into the city yesterday, I was so sensitive to the people. I'm not going to say I was freaking out or anything or some anxiety attack. No, but it was a light, like a panic kind of feel. Not a panic, but just the fumes of it. Like, I don't like this energy. Yeah, this is Ghana. Yeah, it's more peaceful. But the city life is the same way, the hustle and bustle. Even though it's not as venomous. And I was like, I just got down and I'm like, I got things to do down here, but I can't wait to get up out of here. And that's why when I came inside last night and sat around for a bit while I scheduled the show and had to make it for today, I got tired. And this is why we need to be or have our own space. We're not meant to be piled up on top of each other. Even your loved ones, we all need our own space to righteously attune ourselves back to balance. And balance is not just like some people turn their palms up and they get, and I'm going to say it's weird. These practices are not going to bring you into just from being still, hearing your own thoughts, following your gut feeling. Because you can have animals and they, just like around my home, you have animals that just walk around out there. There's no lions, there's no hyenas, not in Ghana. People think because it's Africa that you're going to have all those animals around. Now, in North Africa, you have some monkeys that are huge and different things. And you don't know what you'll see, but They find their own space. They get near each other when they want to get near each other. Of course, they indulge in reproduction, so you can't do it from across the way. But like I told people, you'll never see an alligator who has mental health issues. Anything out in the wild is not going to have mental health issues. Why is it that we, as human beings, and especially the HUEMANs, we're losing touch mentally? Why? Because it's unhealthy living conditions. You see? And the stresses that come with living in the engineered system. You know? Giant game. It's not natural. We were born into it, so we think this is the way it should be. It's not the way it should be. It's not the way it should be. We're far off. And so this is why we're so stressed. It does so much for my mind to be able to go to sleep and wake up when I want and ask myself, what am I going to do today? And there are things that I still have to do. I still have to pay bills and certain things, but I'm out of the system to a point where I can say, you know what, today I'm not doing anything. I'm going to flow. And I always end up doing something, but nothing where it's an obligation. You have to be down here at 6:30 in the morning. Something important or something where you have to. And then it came to me and I realized that it's good for your mental health to sometimes find yourself bored. Just be bored. You can't say, I'm going to be bored today. No. But just find yourself in a place where you're a little bored. That's a luxury. Really think about it. When was the last time you were bored? Not because, well, I'm in the house bored. I don't have much money to go anywhere. Not that kind of bored. Let's say you have a little money, whatever little money is for you. For some people, that's millionaires. It's like, I got a couple extra million. You know, for some people, it's having an extra $50. Like, wow, I got an extra $50 that I don't have to spend. And you could, but it's not about that. But you have whatever you have on your level, but you're bored. But in a way, you don't want to call anybody up, but you're bored. To me, that's the time when your mind cleans out a lot of embedded stress and worry and this thing that's always on us, because so many of us are always in a state of some type of worry, which is out of control. My worry is almost non-existent. We have a little bit of it in there, you know, but concern is something that you do. I'm going to show concern for this particular problem or challenge. And when I'm done showing the concern, I can go back tomorrow and work on it. But after that, I'm going to bed. I'm going to do this or I'm going to do that. That's where I'm at right now. I don't need any external worries. Now, emergencies happen and will pull you out of that relaxed, centered zone, of course. That's life. That's unfortunate. But willingly, I'm not worried about nothing. I'm going to take care of it and show concern, but I'm not worried about it where it's out of control and I'm sitting up here in the middle of the night pulling my hair out. But you know me, I shave my head every day, so I don't have any hair on my head. But still, anxiety. Can't sleep because of whatever. No. I'm going to show concern for it, and I'm going to move on. So I don't want nobody around me bringing me that kind of energy and that kind of stress. And I try to be someone who relieves stress. I try to make you laugh, make you think, make you this, make you that, because that helps me down the line. Because people will begin to be glad when they see you. And you could be a little down. And their laughter and their light can bring you up. It's all about energy. This rain is going to rain all night. It's going to drizzle all night long. It's more than a drizzle, but it's real light. If I went outside and walked, I'll walk a while and I'll be drenched, but it doesn't hit you right away. But that rain on the roof, man. I think after this show, I might have to lay down for an hour. Even though I woke up late. Sweet D, welcome on in. Wow. And I'm going to sign off soon. And I'm for sure, I got to hit another conversation later on. There was something I wanted to talk about. It's going to be straight live like this. Just come on and start talking. It's a lot of things to talk about. They're saying a lot about Dr. Umar, if he is a doctor or not. There's a lot being said about him. There's a lot being said about AI and what people don't understand is happening with AI. You know, there's a lot of things happening with the whole Diddy thing and people still being exposed with different things and hearsay. A lot of it is not important, but in talking about it, you know, we can minimize the effect on our minds. Because like I said, social media and the media as it is now, it's a mind control mechanism that will make you see reality quite different than what it really is. Even though they say we're living in a simulation, they present these things to you, they keep it in your face, make it seem like it's something real important. And it may not be for you in your life. And those things clog our minds up from thinking properly. You know, I tell people that all the time. Oh, you see what's going on in the news? Oh my God. I'm not getting like that. Because what if I didn't have a phone or internet and I'm up here on this mountain? I don't know what's going on or what they say is going on. I never saw a rabbit holding up a cell phone worried about what's happening. They're trying to get food. They're trying to use the bathroom. They're trying to procreate. It's a rabbit, right? So how do we get to this level of a clear frequency without letting things on the external bother us? And we have to deal in the world. We have to know what's going on to a point. But sometimes they make it seem more important than what it is. And we adopt that way of thinking. And we're freaking out. No, I know people like that. And they want to make you feel that way too. It's like, okay, then what? The Republicans. Yeah, it's their fault. It's the immigrants. I can't stand them. Come on, man. Get them to do something. Get out in the world and live and enjoy and vibe and learn and ascend. I'm not going to wake up. There's certain days you stay in. Yeah. Certain days you follow certain things. Yeah, I understand that. I do. I have to. Look what I do. But I'm not going to sit here and get all beat up. I'm going to start arguments. And yeah, because I follow this stuff and I know they're giving you an alternative world. You know? And like I said before, it's just like when they had War of the Worlds, they narrated it over the radio. Was it back in the 30s or 40s? I think it was the 30s. I'm not sure. And it sounded so real. People thought that the aliens, the Martians were coming. And they're jumping out of windows, freaking out. That's the same effect it has now. Mass hypnosis. Well, listen, everybody. I'm going to run downstairs, do a few things. I'm gonna lay on the couch a little while. I might end up sleeping for an hour because this rain is seducing me. It's making me so relaxed right now. Beautiful. I feel it. You know, we know when we're not feeling good and things not going right. We have to acknowledge it when things feel exactly aligned. I feel so aligned right now. I feel so strong right now. I feel so aware right now. And if we can keep ourselves in that place, the world takes away from it outside, the bad energies. But if I can keep myself in that place, man, I'd be the mightiest person in the whole world. I'll be the greatest of all times. So anyway, let me sign off, my dear sisters and brothers, and I will be back because I definitely want to converse on things. And I'm going to see what hits me. But it'll be a whole different flavor. It might be more intense. I feel it coming, right? Anyway, let me sign off. Let me hit a little tune. And Lancescurv is out. Much love to you all. Peace.